Okay, Pam, I'm going to ask one question of all of you, and it has to do with the AICPA ethics provisions. And if you could both be brief, because we're just about out of time, but I would like this answer. Do these AICPA ethics provisions have the force of law? And if not formal law, how far do they go?
Kathy, you want me to start off?
You know what? Charles, you are the attorney. I will defer to you to start off. Thank you.
I can't answer for every single state. I do know that in Minnesota, the AICPA code it has been adopted here, it does have the force of law. Excuse me, it's something in my throat, I apologize. It does have the force of law here in Minnesota. I think to the extent it's been adopted in other states, it would have the force of law in those other states as well. Then we find ourselves in the position of what do the terms mean? If we get into the ethics code or the standards and so forth, the mere fact that we have them as the force of law doesn't really necessarily answer the question, because we have to determine whether there's been a violation of that law and what that really means in terms of the particular challenge conduct at issue. And some of these code provisions, especially around ethics, are, as they should be, aspirational. So they might be talking about where CPA should be going, but in terms of actually setting, some sort of definition of conduct or something like that, we still fall back upon the question of, did the CPA violate the standard of care as defined by the profession here in Minnesota or whatever the state is?
Kathy, quickly, or else we have to sign off here.
Sure. I'll just add that I certainly agree with what Charles just said, and I would agree. As a private organization, the American Institute of CPAs, certainly their standards do not carry the force of law, although, as I understand, very often in courts of law, I think they are held up as, certainly if you're looking at a standard for professional conduct, that's where you're going to look, but they themselves do not have any force of law, and agree that, when they do trickle down to the state accountancy board level, then they can. And that's why it's so critical for licensed CPAs to know exactly what the statutes and rules of their accountancy boards are in whatever states they're practicing in. And it could be many states sometimes. I know it's tough because there's a lot of them and they tend to be a little bit all over the place. But you definitely do want to know what those obligations are under the state board's codes.